UFC Fight Night, Saudi Arabia, Whittaker versus Aliskerov is this weekend. I'm going to go through every single men's fight on the card, give my prediction, and break down. Timestamps in the description if you want a specific fight. But starting with the first fight on the card, Xiao versus Chang Li. I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about either of these guys. I know Xiao, the only fight on Fight Pass that I can go back and watch was him getting destroyed by Christian Quinones. That's all I know about him. Chang Li, there's literally nothing on Fight Pass, but I'm looking at Tapology. I'm seeing Long Xiao, or Xiao Long. I don't know which way it goes. It's always flipped. I'm going to call him Xiao Long. Xiao Long, I'm looking at his record. Last fight, majority decision against a 13-1 guy. I mean, a good record, whatever. Split decision against a 10-3-2 guy on road to UFC. Unanimous decision against a guy who's 9-6. Submit armbar win against a 2-3 guy. And then I look over at Chang Li, KO TKO, ground and pound, road to UFC against a 7-0 undefeated guy. KO TKO, ground and pound, 11-1 guy, road to UFC. KO TKO, ground and pound, 1-0. 3 straight KOs. Like I'm gonna side with Chang Li. I don't have anything to go off of. I like the finishing potential of Chang Li. 3 straight KOs. I think he's going to ride that momentum into this fight with Xiao Long. I'm going to pick him to get it done by decision. Xiao Long did take a beating against Quinones, and he hung in there. He stuck around to the end. So I think he'll hang in there. He'll survive. But I'm going to go Chang Li to win by 30-27 decision. Next fight, the UFC has it wrong on their official website, of course. Great company. They still have Abu Azaitar on there, but Abu Azaitar has pulled out, and Sedriques Dumas has stepped in against Denis Tiuliulin. So we have Sedriques Dumas versus Denis Tiuliulin. Sedriques Dumas taking this on like 2 weeks' notice, I think, just about 2 weeks' notice. Denis Tiuliulin is absolute garbage. He is terrible. Sedriques Dumas, I don't care if he took it on 30-minute notice. He's gonna beat this guy. Sedriques Dumas, he's quicker. He's sharper on the feet. Denis Tiuliulin is just kind of a big fucking slugger. He kind of just plods around, really flat-footed, just throwing huge shots. And Sedriques Dumas can take it to the ground. Denis Tiuliulin, his takedown defense worries me. Sedriques Dumas does have good wrestling. I like that for him against Denis Tiuliulin, who is 11-9. So, not ideal. And his last win was against fucking Jamie Pickett. So, yeah, cool, dude. Welcome to the club. Everyone beats Jamie Pickett. Not impressive. I'm going to pick Sedriques Dumas to win by KO to ground and pound in round 1, I think. I think he's going to get it done. Denis Tiuliulin, cut him from the UFC after he loses. He's terrible. He's going to be 11-10, with one of his wins being to Jamie Pickett. So, get him out the sport. Get him out the company. Sedriques Dumas is going to run through this guy. And Sedriques Dumas just came out. He fought while high. So I don't care what kind of drugs Sedriques Dumas is on. He can go in there on fucking ketamine. I don't care. He's beating Denis Tiuliulin. This guy sucks dick. Can't stuff a takedown to save his life. Slow on the feet. Sedriques Dumas is going to ragdoll him, get him to the ground, and finish him off with ground and pound in round 1. That's my prediction. Let's move on. Next fight, Magomed Gadzhiyasulov versus Brendson Ribeiro. All right, I'm not picking against the guy whose name is Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. I think he's going to beat Brendson Ribeiro. Brendson Ribeiro is powerful. He can, finish a fight. Got one-shot KO power. But he's fighting a guy whose name is Magomed, and his last name ends in V. He's going to get smashed by this guy, I'm telling you. No way. This guy's name is Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. He's not losing. I don't know what the odds are on this, but I'm assuming he's probably a big favorite. Brendson Ribeiro just got KO'd in his last fight. This guy's 8-0, 4 KO wins, 1 submission, 3 decisions. Brendson Ribeiro, I mean, he can catch this guy on the feet. He's got the power to do it. He can certainly knock him out. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov beat Jose Medina on the Contender Series, who's 11-2. That's a pretty good win. I'll trust that. 11-4 guy he beat. But, I mean, you get below that. You start getting into some cans. Beat a guy who's 2-1, 0-0. Fighting a guy who's making his debut when he is 4-0. Finding a guy who's 0-3 when he is 3-0. This guy's name is Magomed Shapiov. Cool, dude. Yeah, that's a real person. Denis Vadzev, 1-2 when he's 2-0. And then 1-0, he's fighting an 0-2 guy. So you start getting to some cans down there, but early in these guys' careers, they're going to be fighting cans. I mean, it's just how it is. But recently, 11-2 guy beat him, 11-4 guy beat him. I like that. And his name is Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, so that adds a little bit more. I'm going to pick him to get this one done. I'm going to say he KOs him. Why not? He's got 4 KO wins. So I'm going to pick him to KO Brendson Ribeiro, just coming off a KO in his last fight. And that fight was only 3 months ago, about 4 months ago. It'll be 4 months by the time this fight comes around. Got KO'd 4 months ago by Mingyang Zhang. So coming back a little too soon, I'm going to pick Magomed Gadzhiyasulov to get this one done by round 1 KO. Kyung Kang versus Muin Gafurov. I was back and forth on this one. I was really considering Kyung Kang for a while. It's like, he's got the reach advantage. I like his straight shots. Muin Gafurov, his striking is really... He's not the most technical guy. I'll say that. He's really he swings fucking huge overhands, big looping hooks. Not a lot of straight shots from Muin Gafurov. But I'm going to pick him mainly because I think he's just going to walk him down. Put the pressure on him. And, he it looks like he's swinging with 110% power in every single one of his shots, Muin Gafurov. But when he lands, it just doesn't look like it's doing anything. Compared to how he's throwing, it looks like he's putting everything he's got into those shots, and just everyone just eats him. So I don't think he's going to KO Kyung Kang. But Kyung Kang, he's a little slow on the feet. I like the footwork of Muin Gafurov better than Kyung Kang. I think he can walk him down. I think he's going to be the one on the front foot in this fight. I think he's going to be walking down Kyung Kang. I think he has to do that if this fight starts and Kyung Kang is the one walking down Muin Gafurov. He's not going to win. Muin Gafurov is not going to win if he's getting walked down by Kyung Kang. He's got to get inside that reach. Kyung Kang actually does have a really nice jab, really nice straight, and that did worry me. That's why I was really considering Kyung Kang. Gafurov swings big overhands, and Kyung Kang has the reach advantage. He likes those straight shots. He can keep them at range. But Kyung Kang, they both fought John Castaneda. They both lost to John Castaneda. Kyung Kang, he's getting his feet chewed up, or his legs chewed up by the leg kicks of Castaneda. Gafurov does have pretty quick kicks. He was landing some pretty good kicks on Castaneda. I think he can chew up that leg of Kyung Kang, and I think he's going to just walk him down. I think Kyung Kang is going to have more volume. I think he's going to fire off more shots than Muin Gafurov. That's kind of what he did against John Castaneda. He was throwing more than Castaneda, but they were all like super light shots. He wasn't really throwing anything with power. So I think he's going to throw more than Gafurov, but Gafurov is going to be the one, swinging like a retard. And that's what the judges want to see. They want to see you swinging with no technique, all the power in the world. Even if it lands on the arms, you're going to get more points than the guy who's just, throwing out little touchy jabs and little touchy leg kicks, Even if they're landing cleaner, even if you're blocking him on the arms, if he's throwing like a retard with all of his power landing on your arms, the judges are going to give you the round. So I think Gafurov's going to walk him down, have him against the cage, throw those huge overhands, maybe mix in some wrestling. I don't know if he'll get him down. He couldn't really hold down Castaneda. I'm going to go Muin Gafurov to get this one done by decision. I'm going to say 29-28. I think he's going to slow down in the later rounds. I think he wins the first 2 rounds. Kyung Kang wins the last round, maybe something like that. Pretty decent cardio. I mean, he can keep it up for 2 rounds. He didn't really slow down in the Castaneda fight in the second round. He was still looking pretty fresh. So I think that's going to be enough to get it done over Kyung Kang, who just doesn't throw anything with any ill intent. He just kind of touches you. But yeah, I'm going to pick Gafurov to get this one done by 29-28 decision. Next fight on the card, Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Nicolas Dalby. This is an interesting fight for me. Rinat Fakhretdinov, a lot of people thought he was going to be a world beater. He looked pretty good against Kevin Lee, which, I mean, Kevin Lee's kind of washed at this point. But then in his last fight, he really showed a problem with his gas tank. Really slowed down in that fight, showed a problem with that cardio. And Nicolas Dalby, the one thing that he really excels in is weaponizing his pace and his cardio, and that is exactly what Rinat Fakhretdinov's weakness is. We know he doesn't have a great gas tank. Nicolas Dalby, he has an incredible gas tank, and he can put that pressure on you. So this is an interesting one. This is a tough one to call. I think the odds are like heavily in favor of Rinat, but this is a close fight in my opinion. I'm going to lean towards Rinat just because I like his wrestling. I think his wrestling's really good. I think he can win the first 2 rounds and maybe wet blanket Nicolas Dalby for the entire fight. But I like the cardio of Nicolas Dalby. I like the pace against a guy like Rinat who slowed down heavily in his last fight. I don't know. This is a good underdog pick if you want to go with Dalby. I don't mind that at all. I think he has a real chance to win this fight just because Rinat slows down so bad. But I am going to lean towards the wrestling of Rinat Fakhretdinov. Maybe he gets a submission, but Nicolas Dalby, he's on a really good run. 4 wins in a row. Lost to Tim Means, I believe. Yeah, lost to Tim Means. But before that, he was on a 5-fight win streak, and then he lost to Tim Means. Now he's on a 4-fight win streak. So he's 9-1 in his last 10. I know he's 39. He is pushing 40, but he hasn't shown his age. He hasn't slowed down a bit, but that time is coming. You can't avoid it forever. Rinat's younger. I like the wrestling. I think he can take the first 2 rounds. Nicolas Dalby could get a finish in round 3. I could see that. I could see that for sure, 100%, but I am going to go Rinat Fakhretdinov. I'm going to go with him by 29-28 decision. I think Dalby will take the last round. This is a close fight. I think these odds are way off. I don't see Fakhretdinov going out there and ragdolling him and submitting Dalby in round 1. I think this should be more like a pick'em, in my personal opinion. But, yeah, I'll go Rinat Fakhretdinov in this one by 29-28 decision. Next fight, Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. Now, some of you may know Jared Gordon as the guy that should have beat Paddy Pimblett. Got robbed in that fight brutally robbed. Should have beat Pimblett. Nasrat Haqparast, I like him here. I think he's going to get it done. Jared Gordon, when I'm watching back his fights, he's a little slow. I think Haqparast is going to have a speed advantage on the feet. I like the boxing of Haqparast. I think he's going to piece up Gordon on the feet. I like the body work. He's got really nice boxing combinations, really mixes it up well to the body and to the head. And I think the volume of Haqparast is going to be too much for Gordon. I mean, Haqparast, he was landing like 40 strikes a round against Lenny Quinones. I like the volume. I like the cardio of Haqparast. I think he's just going to pour it on Jared Gordon, man. I know he should have beat Pimblett, but Pimblett looked really bad in that fight. Allegedly, he broke his foot or something. But Gordon, he's just a little too slow. Like I said, Haqparast is going to be a little quicker. I think he can wear down Jared Gordon with those body shots. Really good boxer, Nasrat Haqparast is. Yeah, I'm going to go Nasrat Haqparast to win a 30-27 decision, just pouring on the volume, piecing up the body, piecing up the head of Jared Gordon, walking him down, putting him against the cage, teeing off to the body, to the head. So, yeah, I'm going to go Haqparast by dominant 30-27 decision in that fight. Next fight, Shara Magomedov versus Joilton Lutterbach. Shara Magomedov is going to beat the shit out of this guy. NPC bot. I'm just kidding. This guy's pretty good. But he is coming in on short notice. Shara Bullet's opponent pulled out, so they replaced him with anybody they could find. Lutterbach, he is a good striker. Pretty good record. Pretty powerful guy. But this is just kind of a layup for Magomedov. Short notice. I don't want to say a layup because this guy can give him problems. And if he can mix in the grappling, mix in the wrestling, we saw in his last fight against Bruno Silva, Shara Magomedov has atrocious takedown defense. He's one of the only guys whose last name is Magomedov who cannot wrestle. This guy has no takedown defense at all. He was getting ragdolled by Bruno Silva. So this guy, if he can go out there and implement some grappling, some wrestling, maybe work a submission, he has a real chance. But Shara Magomedov, I think his striking is a little too good for Lutterbach. Coming in, the lights are bright, UFC debut against a guy like Magomedov, big hyped up prospect. I think it's just going to be a little too much for him. So yeah, I'm going to go Shara Magomedov. I think he's going to KO him in round 2. That's going to be my pick. Shara Magomedov by round 2 KO over Joilton Lutterbach. Next fight on the card, Johnny Walker taking on Volkan Oezdemir. This is an interesting fight to pick. Volkan Oezdemir, in my humble opinion, is the better fighter than Johnny Walker. But Johnny Walker, he can go out there and make it dirty, make it wild, throw in his flying knees, throw in these crazy techniques. I think he needs to go out there and make it dirty against Volkan Oezdemir. because I do believe Volkan Oezdemir is the more technical, the better fighter in my opinion. I think Volkan Oezdemir is a great boxer. He's a great counter puncher. He can chin Johnny Walker, who is, he's very able to be chinned. He gets chinned into Looney Tunes animations. Jamal Hill put him in a Looney Tunes animation. Magomed Ankalaev brutally KO'd him. So this guy can be chinned. Corey Anderson chinned him. He's chinnable, obviously. And Volkan Oezdemir has the ability to do that. He's a great counterpuncher, great boxer, slick boxer. Johnny Walker, I like the fast twitch ability of Johnny Walker. He's super explosive. He's always catching you off guard with wild techniques. And I think that's what he's got to do to beat Volkan Oezdemir. And I think, Johnny Walker, he has the ability to submit Volkan Oezdemir as well, I believe. Underrated submissions. I'm going to pick Johnny Walker to get this one done. I'm going to trust in the explosiveness, the fast twitch ability of Johnny Walker over Volkan Oezdemir. I think he's got to make it dirty. Can't play technical with Oezdemir. I think if he tries to go out there and play smart, play technical, I think he's going to get pieced apart by Volkan Oezdemir. But when has Johnny Walker ever done that? He's going to go out there, throw wild techniques, be explosive, maybe catch Oezdemir with something, maybe get him in a submission, something like that. I think Johnny Walker finishes his fight. I'm going to say he gets it done by round 2 KO over Volkan Oezdemir. Next fight, Muhammad Naimov versus Melsik Bagdasaryan. I'm going to go Muhammad Naimov. I like him here. Melsik Bagdasaryan, he's a really technical, accurate striker. He doesn't waste a lot of energy. He's very accurate with his shots. He's not swinging and missing. He's not overextending on anything. But I'm looking at Melsik Bagdasaryan. Something is sticking out like a sore thumb. Submitted by Josh Kulabau. I don't like that at all. Muhammad Naimov, he is more of a stand-up guy. Both of these guys are stand-up guys. But if Muhammad Naimov is smart, there is a big hole in Melsik Bagdasaryan's game, which is the grappling. If he is smart, he will look to take this fight to the ground. But we don't know that. We don't know. Is he just going to stand on the feet anyway? And if he stands on the feet with Bagdasaryan, I like Bagdasaryan's chances. I think he's a more technical striker than Muhammad Naimov. But Muhammad Naimov, he likes to cheat. And boy, does he get away with it. He will kick you in the dick. He will grab the cage. He will do whatever it takes to cheat and win. But I just think the hole in Melsik Bagdasaryan's grappling is too big to pick him here. I like Naimov. He can go in there and wrestle, and I think he will have a lot of success if he tries to wrestle against Melsik Bagdasaryan. If Josh Kulabau is submitting you, Muhammad Naimov can definitely submit you. So I am going to trust in him to get this one done. I'm going to say he goes out there and submits Melsik Bagdasaryan in round 1. That's going to be my pick. Muhammad Naimov by round 1, rear naked choke. That's going to be my prediction for this one. Next fight, Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Man, Daniel Rodriguez, I've never been high on Daniel Rodriguez. He robbed Li Jingliang, got KO'd by Ian Gary, got submitted by Neil Magny. Kelvin Gastelum, though, he just got destroyed by Sean Brady in his last fight. But I think Sean Brady's really underrated. A lot of people look at that TKO loss to Bilal Muhammad, and, certainly that's not a good thing. Getting submitted by Sean Brady, I don't think that's something to feel bad about. He's a really good grappler. I think Kelvin Gastelum is going to beat Daniel Rodriguez. He's just not that good. He's an average striker, decent takedown defense, but he slows down pretty bad. He just got KO'd by Ian Gary with a head kick, and he's getting older. I'm going to pick Kelvin Gastelum. I like his heart. I like his chin. I don't think Daniel Rodriguez is going to KO him. And if he can't KO him, I think he's going to slow down. Kelvin Gastelum will win as the fight goes on. I'm going to pick Kelvin Gastelum to win this one by decision. I'm going to say 29-28, maybe 30-27 on one card, something like that. I just think this is a recipe for a Kelvin Gastelum win. Daniel Rodriguez, he's not going to go out there and submit you like Sean Brady. He's not going to go out there and KO Kelvin Gastelum. I certainly don't think so. And I think if he can't finish him, I don't think he's going to win a decision. I think Kelvin Gastelum has the better cardio as the fight goes on. I think he can put it on in the later rounds more than Daniel Rodriguez can. I like the wrestling. I'm going to pick Kelvin Gastelum 29-28 decision.
I'm going to trust him to get it done over Daniel Rodriguez, who is a guy that I've just never been high on. I think Kelvin Gastelum's the more complete fighter. He should get this one done over Daniel Rodriguez.
Co-main event, Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. I love this fight. I'm sure Pavlovich is probably the favorite, but Volkov is really underrated, man. See, the thing is, this is a heavyweight fight, and you got a big heavy hitter in Sergey Pavlovich, the big scary Russian. He did just get knocked out by Tom Aspinall. But when you're analyzing a fight between two heavyweights, especially when one or both have one-shot knockout power like Pavlovich does, there's no point in analyzing technique. I'm just going to be honest. Volkov is the better grappler. I think he can get Pavlovich down and submit him. Absolutely. I think Volkov is the more technical fighter. But it doesn't matter. Pavlovich just has to hit you and you get knocked out. Volkov lost to Derek fucking Lewis. He lost to Derek Lewis. A fight he was dominating the entire time. He lost in like the last 10 seconds because Derek Lewis touched him on the chin. That is all it takes in heavyweight with a power puncher like Sergey Pavlovich. Is Alexander Volkov the more complete mixed martial artist? Yes. I think he is the more technical, the more complete fighter. Is Sergey Pavlovich going to go out there and take this dude's head off? Probably. Because he has 15 minutes to land one shot. If Derek Lewis can do it, Sergey Pavlovich can do it. So I would not be surprised if Alexander Volkov goes out there, shoots a takedown, gets Pavlovich down, and chokes him out, gets him in an arm triangle or something. I can 100% see that happening. I want to pick Volkov. He's so underrated, such a good grappler at heavyweight. Probably the second best grappler behind Tom Aspinall himself. Sergey Pavlovich, he just has to touch you. And it speaks volumes that Tom Aspinall beat him. And I picked Aspinall to beat him. I think Aspinall is going to go down as the heavyweight GOAT. That's my opinion. But oh my God, I can't pick Volkov. I can't. If Derek Lewis is able to find that chin in 15 minutes, Pavlovich should be able to. He's got the longer reach. Pavlovich has an 84-inch reach. He has the reach advantage over Volkov. Volkov is 4 inches taller, but has a 4-inch reach disadvantage to Sergey Pavlovich. If Derek Lewis is getting in there finding that chin, Pavlovich can find that chin, I think. But the wrestling is there for Volkov. I'm telling you, Volkov by sub, I like that. I think it's either Volkov by sub or Pavlovich by KO. I think those are the two options here. Again, man, you're giving Pavlovich 15 minutes to find your chin when Derek Lewis found it. Give me Pavlovich by KO. I'm going to say round 2. I'm going to say Volkov gets him down in round 1 and holds him there, can't find the sub, and then in round 2, Pavlovich chins him. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go Pavlovich round 2 KO. No point in analyzing technique. Volkov is the more technical, more complete fighter. Does not matter. Pavlovich can just touch you on the chin and kill you. So give me Pavlovich round 2 KO. Main event, Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Ikram Aliskerov stepping in on a week's notice to replace Khamzat Chimaev. Robert Whittaker, slight favorite in this one. I'm going to pick Robert Whittaker to get this one done by decision over Ikram Aliskerov, maybe a TKO in the later rounds. Now, can Ikram Aliskerov KO Robert Whittaker? Yeah, he can. Can he go out there and ragdoll and submit Robert Whittaker? Sure. Absolutely. He has the tools to do that. But I can't pick a guy to come in and beat a guy like Robert Whittaker, who has been at the top of the division for a very long time, former champion. He's got all this experience facing the who's who of the division, right? And this guy beat Warlley Alves and Phil Hawes, and now he's fighting Robert Whittaker. I'm not going to pick a guy to beat Whittaker just because, he KO'd Phil Hawes. He has KO power. He can submit you. He has good wrestling. He hasn't proven it against anyone worth a fuck. And that's no disrespect to Phil Hawes, but Phil Hawes is the chinniest individual on the planet. You could go and punch a Walmart cashier, and they would eat the punch better than Phil Hawes would. It's just a different story at the top of this division. I think Robert Whittaker, he's just going to stick and move. He's going to find that timing on Ikram Aliskerov, find his counter punches, find his combinations on Ikram Aliskerov, who has never fought anyone on the level of Robert Whittaker. Now, the thing is, I was going to pick Khamzat Chimaev to beat Robert Whittaker, but I don't think Khamzat beats a lot of people in the top 5. However, I do think Robert Whittaker was one of those people because Robert Whittaker, he's small for middleweight, and he's chinny. That's a guy Khamzat can ragdoll and submit in round 1. I don't think he does that to many other people at the top of the division. I don't think he does it to Sedriques. I don't think he does it to Adesanya. I don't even think he does it to Strickland. But Whittaker, he's small, he's chinny. He can be ragdolled by Chimaev. Same thing with Aliskerov. If there's anyone in the top 5 he's going to beat on a week's notice, it would probably be Robert Whittaker. Because he is chinny, he can be chinned. Ikram has power, and he is small. He can be ragdolled, and Ikram has good wrestling. But I'm not going to pick a guy, again, I can't pick you to beat Robert Whittaker when you haven't proven you can beat Chris Curtis. You haven't proven you can beat Jack Hermanson. You know what I mean? Like, it's just too big of a step up. If you're picking Ikram Aliskerov to beat Robert Whittaker, you're picking him because you believe he is currently a top 5 fighter in the middleweight division. I don't think he is. Robert Whittaker, sure he's chinny, sure he's small for the division. You know, he has these downsides, like I say, but he has the experience. Like I said, he's fought the who's who. He's fought Israel Adesanya twice. He's fought Dricus du Plessis. You know, he's fought Marvin Vettori. He's fought Jerry Cannonier. He's fought these guys. Ikram Aliskerov has 2 fights in the UFC against schmucks, and now he's fighting Robert Whittaker. I think Whittaker is going to figure out Ikram Aliskerov. He's going to avoid those power shots of Ikram, and he's going to find his rhythm, find his timing on Aliskerov, and just stick and move, piece up Aliskerov, slip the shot, go in with 2-3 shots of his own, find his combinations on Aliskerov. I mean, this guy, Aliskerov, his claim to fame is being flatlined by Chimaev. That's why everyone knows him. Oh, this is the guy that got knocked out by Chimaev. His only losses to Chimaev. That's all they talk about. It's never his wins. Oh, this guy's only losses to Chimaev. What about who he's beaten? Who's this guy beaten? I don't care that he got flatlined by Chimaev. Who does he beat? He's beat Phil Hawes, and he's beat the other guy, Warlley Alves. Going in there against Whittaker, it's a tough task. It's too big of a task on a week's notice, and I know he was preparing for a fight just last weekend, so he's going to be in shape. It's not like he has 10 days to get in shape and cut weight and all that. He will be in shape. I'm going to side with the experience of Whittaker, man. He's too technical. He's been there for too long. Ikram has no experience at the elite level of the sport. He's never fought anyone elite, and when he did, he got flatlined by Chimaev, who might not even really be that good, if we're being honest. So I'm going to pick Robert Whittaker. Again, I'm going to pick him by decision, maybe a TKO in the later rounds, but I'm going to say like 49, 46, maybe 50, 45 for Robert Whittaker. Ikram Aliskerov has proven absolutely fuck all in the UFC, besides KOing a schmuck in Phil Hawes and beating Warlley Alves. So, yeah, Robert Whittaker is going to get this one done, in my personal opinion. I think this is a better matchup for him. I was favoring Chimaev to beat him, but I think he beats Aliskerov here. Honestly, if he wins this, I think just do Whittaker versus Strickland. Strickland should have beat DDP, in my opinion. I thought he won that fight clear. I mean, it was close, but I thought he clearly won 48-47. And he did just fight Costa. You can't have all these guys sitting around waiting for a title shot. So I think if Whittaker wins, I think you do Strickland Whittaker, and then the winner should fight the winner of DDP and Adesanya. It's all Adesanya's fault. He doesn't deserve a title shot, but he's going to get one, and he's completely holding up the division. But whatever. Yeah, I'm going to go Whittaker over Aliskerov. Dominant decision, 49-46, 50-45, maybe a late round TKO. Those are my picks for UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia, Whittaker versus Aliskerov. Hopefully I can do better than I did last week. Went 4-5 last week, but this is a much better card. Pretty excited for it, and I will see you guys Saturday night.